Each week on this video, we'll give you 4 sneaky ads to pick up from your fantasy football waiver wire. I'm Alan Seslowsky here with Jeff Erickson. Jeff, it was a big week for injuries. We're heading into week 4. Who's a sneaky running back that I might be able to add this week?
It's not sneaky, though. It's Chuba Hubbard. It's obvious. Christian McCaffrey's out at least a week or two. They just said today that they're not going to put him on IR, so they're hoping they get him before 3 weeks. Hope is not a plan, though. But go ahead and go get Hubbard. He's going to play this week, probably the following. You want to go ahead and roll with him here. And the thing is, he looked better in the second half against the Texans after he kind of grew into the role. I was a little scared early on when he got stuffed on that 4th and 1 early in the game, but he's the primary guy. He was getting a much bigger snap share than Royce Freeman. Go get Hubbard, get him for the next couple of weeks.
While everybody's fighting over Chuba Hubbard, you may want to put in a few dollar bid on Royce Freeman. Got the touchdown last week, had 15 carries. You never know how they're going to split up the work touches. Let's talk about the bid for Chuba Hubbard. On the count of 3, let's flip over our bid cards and give our percentage of our FAAB that we suggest that you get. Ready? On 3, 2, 1. Wide receiver position. Is there anybody out there that could help me right away?
I'm going to look at Detroit a little bit. Khalif Raymond got 10 targets. A lot of people were on Quintez Cephas. A lot of people were on Amon-Ra St. Brown. But it was Raymond that was the guy that was getting targets. And he even came to this game questionable, too, is the funny thing. He had 10 targets against the Ravens. Going to get tough test against the Bears this week. That's something I don't love. But we're just looking for opportunity at this point. This is probably a deep league special.
MVS had a little bit of a hamstring, but he's got 4 targets in each of his last few games. They're all going to be long plays. If you want a wide receiver 3, there's no better player to have than that boom bust guy as your wide receiver 3. That's how I like to play fantasy football. Jeff, on the count of 3, let's turn over the bid cards for the wide receivers in 3, 2, 1.
One other thing about Marcus Valdes-Scantling, better offense than most of the offenses out there. We saw Deshaun Jackson go nuts last week against the Bucs. I don't think you can count on week in, week out. I know you can't. We've seen the career of Deshaun Jackson. There's 2 things. He doesn't stay on the field that often, and he's not a frequent target guy. So go get MVS for probably cheaper than what you're going to get for Deshaun Jackson right now. Because I just don't think you want to start Jackson. I think he's proverbial best ball only sort of guy.
Tight end position, as always, if you're not one of 4 players in your league, you are always looking for the next tight end. Is there anybody out there that can help fantasy players this week?
Alan, there is. Albert Okuwebunam is a guy that the Denver Broncos drafted a year ago out of Missouri. He's been hurt a little bit in the past. He's healthy now. He's a red zone target. And here's why you really should pay attention. Jerry Jeudy's out. KJ Hamler's out. The receivers they have behind Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton are untested. Really haven't been used a whole lot. Deontay Spencer, for instance, might be there. I think Albert O is going to get a lot more red zone targets. Noah Fant's obviously going to benefit from this as well. But the game flow is going to be different. They play the Ravens this week. They don't play the Jets. They're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more, especially in the red zone. We saw how much they struggle in the red zone. I think they're going to start throwing again in the red zone a little bit more, and I think Albert O is the guy to benefit from that.
I think that's a real great sneaky ad. Also, a little bit more higher on the list is Dawson Knox, who's had double-digit fantasy points in 3 straight weeks, scored in the last 2. It is the 3rd year when tight ends typically break out. So let's flip over our bid cards. First for Albert O in 3, 2, 1. Since everyone's watched the video until the end, let's give them one bonus sneaky ad for week 4.
Yes, let's do that. Let's go with the Giants, Colin Johnson. Sterling Shepard got hurt early in this game. Darius Slayton got hurt early in the game against the Falcons. And it was interesting. Colin Johnson was getting more targets than Kadarius Toney, the 1st-round pick. I think a lot of people are going to say, okay, it's time for Toney. I don't know if it's time for Toney. I want to see the Giants actually act accordingly. I think Colin Johnson, who got 7 targets last week, he's the guy who probably steps in a little bit more into the breach. I like him a little bit better than Toney.
Let's flip over our bid cards for Colin Johnson and 3, 2, 1. To see Jeff's value meter each week where he ranks every player week by week for fantasy football, go to rotowire.com/try and you can see all of our content for free for 10 days.